Fluorescent lighting is ruining your makeup. Do you control the lighting wherever you go? If you're not Mariah Carey, I bet you don't.
Fluorescent lighting.
So when you're going to work or to school, I have a feeling that the lighting is terrible. This video is all about the steps that I take and the things that I do a little bit differently to get a long-lasting, flattering makeup that looks good in awful overhead fluorescent lighting. Step one is really important. It's skin prep. I'm gonna go ahead and do it through the magic of YouTube. It is nighttime right now, but I'm gonna put on my tinted moisturizer just to show you what it looks like. I have a little bit on, but I'm gonna refresh it. I'm gonna get this hair out of my face, and because I'm starting not right after washing my face, I'm going to just go in with a little Fix Plus to give me some moisture and give a little bit of a sticky base for my tinted sunscreen to stick to. And my skin is having a fit right now. I bought a high frequency device. I do think it's working, but I'm gonna show you how I cover these blemishes. Just wait.
Okay.
So I'm using the La Roche-Posay skin tint. It's SPF 50. I have used this one before. I mentioned it in my sunscreen video, and I like it a lot. It has more of a satin finish, and this needs time to cook. You have to let it soak in or your skin is going to pill, and I do not have time for that ever, but especially not when I'm getting ready for work. So I'm just gonna rub this in. I've also shaved my face today. That is a huge prep step that I think makes a really big difference to the quality of my makeup application. I just use like a tinkle razor, shave off all the hair, and then touch my skin up with some Paula's Choice BHA so it doesn't cause me irritation. I do think that some people are sensitive to shaving their faces, so tread lightly. Maybe do it on a day off, but it makes a huge difference because your hairs on your face, lighting picks up on that. So now that I've got this skin tint on, my skin looks a little bit more even. I definitely apply it to my ears because I don't want them to stick out. I kind of want everything on my face to look like it's the same color, and ears are part of your face. So definitely include that. I'm gonna let this soak for 2, 3, 5 minutes so that none of my makeup pills when I put it on top. This might be my very favorite part. This is bronzer, and this is really gonna be the heavyweight of the makeup. Today, I am going to use the NYX Wonder Stick. This is the color Universal. This was first recommended to me from Stephanie Nicole on YouTube, who I miss dearly. I hope she comes back. But this is just a beautiful cream bronzer. Actually, I barely have any left. I have tons of the highlight left. I literally never use this, but the bronzer side is unmatched for an easy all over the face bronzer. So I'll show you how to apply it, and it's gonna be the main thing that's giving us definition. I'm just drawing this on below my cheekbones, along my forehead, right down my nose, and on my eyelids. This is actually gonna be eyeshadow for me. There's none of that in this look because I definitely don't have time to blend an eyeshadow look when I'm getting ready to leave the house. I'm also hitting around my lips, and I will blend this out, and this almost acts like a lip liner, but there's gonna be more of that. Notice that I didn't forget my neck. It's huge to make sure that the color on your face matches the color on your cheeks, matches the color on your neck. Otherwise, you're gonna look glowy and healthy and bronzy until you hit your neck, and it's gonna look crazy. You don't wanna look like a floating head, so bring it down. So I just draw this on, and then I blend it out with a big fluffy brush, kind of an angled contour brush. Okay, now that bronzer is done, I am going to conceal. So I'm gonna start under my eye, and this is going to be a hugely important step to get right. I'm going to use this Charlotte Tilbury under eye corrector. This also looks pretty thrashed. I use this very frequently. So I just take a little bit on my finger, and this is huge. It's gonna be the least flattering thing you've ever seen. You look into the mirror and then look up with your eyes, and you can see exactly where you need concealer. The name of the game with this makeup is keeping it long lasting and covering areas that are problematic. So much better. So this is a little bit of an extra step, a little bit of high maintenance, but it makes a difference for me. I used a different color under my eye for concealer than I am on the rest of my face. So I'm gonna use this House Labs concealer on anywhere that I want to conceal and look even. So these little spots, those are going under. I'm just gonna tap a tiny little bit, and then I'm gonna bring it around my nose. I don't really do any on my forehead because my forehead's pretty even, and the more product you add, the more product you have to worry about moving around. So I just hit those key areas. You can even use the concealer to kind of carve out your bronzer, but I don't really think you need much. And then I'm just gonna use a brush to blend this on the outer part of my face. But I'll use a sponge in some areas. Or not. I'm usually in a rush, so. On a busy morning, I'm using basically as few tools as I can. And you may be wondering to yourself, where's the foundation? Well, there isn't any, because I don't really like to use foundation throughout the day. Like I said, I don't like to have too many products to worry about keeping in place. And you don't need to cover your entire face just to even out a few places. So if you put concealer just in the key areas that you need coverage, you can blend that out and it looks just as good as foundation. Obviously, if it's like an evening event or a party or a special occasion, I might, but during the day, I definitely don't. So next step is gonna be setting with powder. I don't really use a pressed powder, I use a loose powder, and this one you've seen before on my channel and in probably everybody else's because it is incredible. This is the One Size translucent powder. You can add a peach powder, like I know the Huda ones are really popular if you want more correcting or more coverage, but I just like to use a translucent, and I do a light bake and it picks up any mascara that falls out, but it also locks in the areas that I wanted more coverage. I have been exclusively using a puff to set my makeup outside of a setting spray, but when I'm using powder, I'm setting with a puff. It makes a huge difference. So I just dump a ton in the lid, press my little Amazon puff into it, and then wipe off any like large chunks on the back of my hand. And then I tap out any creases and I just gently press everywhere I want to set. So if you're oily, you can do this all over your face. I am not particularly oily. I hit maybe my forehead, but definitely my under eyes. I just tap, 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 tap. I bring it up onto the sides of my nose, which kind of adds a little contour effect. My dog really wants to be free, but she'll knock over the tripod, so. Then I'm also gonna set my eyelid. I definitely tap out any creases. I set the bronzer that I have in there blended out, and I always set my eyebrow. Eyebrow pencil does not go on nicely on a sticky, wet skincare brow. So setting the brows and the lashes is absolutely essential to have your dark color products last. I hit my chin very lightly and a little bit around the perimeter of my face. Then maybe just a touch on my forehead. And then I dip in one more time and add just a little extra layer of powder. So it's not an aggressive bake, but it helps to catch any mascara. It's okay. This will catch any mascara and also make sure that I don't get smudges for my eyeliner or mascara. And then we just let that sit. I just want to say thank you so much for watching my previous video. That one really blew up. I'm so proud of it, and I really appreciate that you guys responded to it. So thank you for watching my channel. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't seen that one, please like and subscribe. I've got so many ideas. I feel so fired up every time I see that someone else has seen the video, so thank you. So let's jump into brows. They are absolutely essential. Besides bronzer, brows are, I think, one of the most important steps. So soft, fluffy definition in your brows is kind of the name of the game for everyday looks. So I like to brush them up, and then I'm going to do something a little bit unusual. I'm gonna use Glossier Boy Brow, the tinted brow gel. I think this one is just called Brown. And then what I'm gonna do with this is gently go through my brows and brush them up. Sometimes penciling can be really difficult to get the shape right and see exactly where you need to fill in. So if you do a little brow gel first, you can really see where pencil is necessary and where it's not necessary. So now that I have my brows brushed up, I'm gonna go through with a really, really fine pencil. I have pretty thin brows, so a micro point kind of precise pencil is huge for me. This is the Senna Brow. I get it on Amazon. It's called Sketch-A-Brow, and I'm using the color Ash Brown. And I'm just gonna take it and add a little definition where I see gaps that tinted brow gel couldn't fill in.
I failed you.
And I just do little tiny hair strokes. Got a little fuller brow on this side, especially towards the front. So I fill in a little bit more at the front of this one to make them a little more even. I'm just barely grazing my skin and just adding a little bit of definition. You kind of just do hair strokes in the direction that the hair grows. So in the front, the hairs mostly grow upwards. So I go kind of straight up and down. And then on the tail, I draw more of a horizontal line. That makes a huge difference. My next step is eyes. It's gonna be quick and easy. I'm not gonna add any eyeshadows, but the bronzer is doing enough defining for me and contrasting nicely with my eye color. So I'm just gonna go in with liner and like maybe one eyeshadow pencil, and I will show you that now. Number one, I'm going to use a sharpened kind of dark brown pencil. This is one of my favorites from Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Rockin' Coal in Barbarella Brown. And if you've seen my winged liner video, you know how important I think tight lining is. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that just by looking in the mirror and drawing in between the base of my lashes. It's really important that you get your iris kind of out of the way because that's what makes you blink and draw all over your eyelid when you're trying to do this. So I will look into the mirror and move my eye to fill in. And I'm gonna move to the other eye. So I look kind of to my left when I'm doing the inner corner of my left eye. And then I look to the right to get the outer edge. There we go. And then I add the tiniest little bit of a wing. I don't want a harsh, thick line, but I want my eye to look just a little bit more pulled up, a little bit more awake. So I just take my pencil kind of horizontally in this little crook between my upper and lower waterline and draw. And I just pull it out with the side of my finger, give myself the babyest little wing. Aww. Make sure it looks even, looking straight into the mirror. I just kind of check it gently, but because it's kind of a wash of a wing, it doesn't have to be entirely perfect. This step is, technically I guess it's eyeshadow. I'm just gonna take this Nude Sticks eyeshadow pencil. It is the color Terra, and I'm gonna draw it below my lower lash line to give my eye some definition without adding any darkness.
We stay in the light, we stay alive.
I'm just taking it right below my lashes, kind of in between them. This is also really nice if you're going to put eyeliner on your lower lash line because it kind of gives it a barrier to keep your eyeliner from moving around. And then I really like this Terra color just because it's a nice warm, kind of similar to my bronzer, and everything looks very cohesive. And you can smudge this. It's subtle enough that you don't really have to, but I might do it today just so you can see. I'm gonna use this Real Techniques brush just to smudge out that cream shadow. Give it a little bit of a softer look. I also have a little tiny dot of black liner that kind of flaked off, so I'm just grabbing that with my brush and pushing it away. And that's your eyeshadow. Before I throw in my mascara, I am going to define my lips and line them, but I'm not gonna use a traditional lip pencil. I'm gonna use a lip stain because I like a very glossy lip that keeps my lips hydrated all day, that I can reapply without looking in a mirror. So I'm using a YSL lip stain. It is in the color 207, and I'm just going to basically line my lips with it. You can also do this and just fill in your whole lip and add lip gloss on top, but I like to give my lips definition and have a little bit of a gradient, so I use it as a liner. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook and we are going to go in with mascara. I absolutely always curl my eyelashes. I can't stand the way they look when they are straight and my eyes are hooded, so I want my lashes to really lift my eye, but I think everybody needs that. I also wanna point out that you can buy new pads for your eyelash curler. I don't know how many times I've been curling my lashes and feeling like I'm not getting anywhere, and it's because the pad's worn out, so I just buy like 5 or 6 at a time, and whenever I feel like I'm not getting the same curl, I replace it. And then I can't stop using this mascara. This is the Lash Sensational from Maybelline. It is incredible. It has some tubing ingredients, so I find that it doesn't smudge on my hooded eyes, and it lasts all day without getting flaky or clumpy. I can build it up, and I use the color Black Brown. And I just kind of blink it on in my daily life. If I'm going to work or I'm going to school, I don't need the chunkiest lashes. I kind of want them to be feathery and line, kind of defined, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I skip my lower lashes. I don't find that it looks particularly good on me to use a chunkier mascara, and I definitely don't have time during the workday to go in with a second mascara to define my lower lashes, so I just leave them, especially because I don't want it to smudge. So that is mascara on, and it really completes things. We have just a couple more steps, so let's get into them. Now that I have mascara on, I'm going to throw on some gloss. The stain has sat alone long enough.
I am ready to get hurt again.
And I'm using Fussy by Fenty. This isn't the plumping one. I do love the plumping one. This is just a nice hydrating one. So I don't like to use anything too harsh if I'm gonna be wearing makeup for a long time. I want something hydrating. Otherwise, at the end of the day, I get off work and my lips are like crusty and dehydrated and not as juicy as they could be or as they were when I started the day. So I have that on. Look how nice it looks with the stain. It doesn't look nearly as harsh as it did while it was kind of soaking in. And then I'm gonna do my very last step. and it's kind of weird to do it last, but it's definitely a Charlotte Tilbury thing to wait to put blush on until the very end so you don't over apply it, and so you can pick your placement of blush based on the look that you've already built. I'm gonna go in with this Merit Stockholm blush. It's kind of like a creamy gel stick, and I'm gonna put it on the apples of my cheek because that's where I've been liking it lately. I think it gives me a little bit of a lift and a little bit of like a rosy glow. And I just kind of stipple it on the apple of my cheek and I smile a little bit. If I work out, the flush kind of moves downward, kind of below where you'd think to put blush, but that's what I think about is where I naturally flush. So I don't mind that it goes a little bit low because it looks really natural. And then I just finger blend. I tap it in. I don't really highlight. If I'm going to highlight, I want a subtle highlight. I would just add some Hollywood Flawless filter or even prime with it, but I've got enough moisturizer on and my setting step is gonna give me back a little bit of glow. Tap a little bit on my nose, even a little bit extra across my forehead just so everything looks very blended together. And I'm gonna get this look locked and loaded. I've got one more thing I need to do, which is dust off any excess powder that I had under my eye. There's not much coming off because it's kind of soaked in, but if I had done a heavier bake, I would definitely want to brush it away before I hit my face with setting spray. This is the e.l.f. Mist and Set. It's not elegant. It doesn't have a fine mist. It's kind of like a hairspray from the 80s. But it locks and loads your makeup for under like $6 for a little bottle. So highly recommend if you like to look very glossy and locked in place. So I'm just gonna close my eyes and mist my entire face. X, and then a T. And then maybe all around. I love setting spray. It makes a huge difference. And then I will just fan it. If I have a hand mirror, I'll use that. And I try not to move my face too much, make too many expressions, because I don't want to move my skin and have it set a crease from the moisture that I just added. Ooh. Beautiful. So this is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. In my next video, I am going to be following along with a look by Sam Ravindall using her brushes with Sigma.